Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting day. They just launched Superflex drafts on Underdog Fantasy. It's exciting, but it's a little bit painful that we get pick 4. So if you're going to be looking at the best players available, it's either going to be Justin Fields or Joe Burrow. I know the majority of people are taking Fields at this point, given the rushing upside, given the improvements they made in Chicago. So let's see what we do it for. But before we get into it, of course, check out flockfantasy.com, promo code FLOCK, and you'll get all my rankings to these Underdog drafts. You'll get rankings to Dynasty leagues. You'll get all my exclusive articles, live streams, videos. Make sure you are looking at that if you enjoyed the channel. I promise you that you are going to love it. And outside of that, don't really have too much to discuss. Let's see if we end up having to take Justin Fields at 4. They're doing this to us on purpose. I know they put us here for our first Superflex draft just to make us take Justin Fields. I think you have a significant teardrop after Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes this upcoming season. I will say, first off, Fields, the floor compared to someone like Joe Burrow is way lower. And I mean way lower. If we were playing in a Dynasty league, give me Joe Burrow and it's not even remotely close. But the only thing we care about is going to be this upcoming season's ceiling, which of course Justin Fields could go out there and just go nuclear given the rushing upside that we have. And also it's a pretty good improvement that you have with DJ Moore coming over. And I can guarantee you, you better be taking a quarterback round 1 here. If you have access to one of these elite level guys, you better be going QB because later on it is going to be disgusting. But Rusty says, Ayo Mason, I'm picking 6. Let's go. Happy to see you out here, my friend. Interesting to see the Jefferson selection over Lamar Jackson. I have not had the chance to get into an Underdog Superflex draft this offseason. Of course, we did a crap ton last year. So I want to know how the quarterback value is going to be at the 2-3 turn. And if you're going to be able to get players that you actually are excited about having some type of upside. But of course, we will see. You have Stephon Diggs going at 10. And I want to talk a little bit about the strategy here in these Superflex drafts compared to what you have actually in one quarterback leagues on Best Ball. But before we get into that, if you're not on Underdog, you can find the link in the description. Find it in the comment section. When you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. So it's pretty much free for you to check out. And you can also get our Dynasty rankings that way. But anyway, if you're going to be looking at the strategy here on Underdog in these Superflex drafts, you have to understand that that flex spot transitions over to QB. So in my mind, that means when you can't start 4 wide receivers, or at least you'd never think you're going to start 4 wide receivers if you're going to be starting 2 quarterbacks, I am going to be moving wide receivers down our draft boards in general in comparison to the 1 quarterback format on Underdog. Here I'll be a little bit more willing to go ahead and grab a running back early. Like I would say if you're playing in a 1 QB format on Underdog, if you take CMC over Jamar Chase, I hate it. But here in Superflex, I'm actually kind of fine with it. Okay, we got Mark out here. Happy to see you here, my friend. Thank you for coming out. Nick says quarterback value is no good. So we'll see. I mean, we actually have a couple quarterbacks making it back to the 2-3 turn here. So Tyreek Hill off the board. Dak Prescott goes at 19. I probably would have taken Dak if you would have made it to us. The Detroit Lions on the clock. They go Austin Eckler. I'm just going to go Tua. I'm going to make the easy selection. I mean, the thing is, if we are looking at the teardrops that you're going to have later on, these quarterbacks in my mind should be going way higher. And I'm assuming that they are going to go way higher than what their ADP is currently showing. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get to a pick 21. I'm going to feel comfortable about it as well with how you're going to be able to find depth at the other positions. We really can't find it at QB. Grimley says we should have gone Bijan Robinson. Bijan going directly after at pick 23. Like, so this is another good example. Like we were saying, in that 1 quarterback league on Underdog, I would say taking Bijan Robinson over CeeDee Lamb is horrible. But here, I think it's completely fine if you wanted to go through and take Bijan Robinson over Lamb, given the fact you don't have that extra flex spot. And I think we can lean a little bit more wide receiver. Now, CeeDee Lamb going 24. Okay. I think I know what we're doing. I don't want to say anything, of course. We'll try to keep our lips sealed a bit here. If y'all remember last year, Geno Smith was by far and away the biggest values. Biggest value in this draft. You were able to get Geno Smith in like the 19th, 20th round. If we would have known for sure Geno Smith was winning the job and Geno Smith was going to have more passing yards than Russell Wilson ever did, I would have loaded up 1 million Underdog Superflex drafts last year and taken Geno Smith in the second to last round in every single one and just print money. Now, Saquon Barkley off the board at 26. Kenneth Walker goes 27. So I honestly think we may end up going with the quarterback here because, while we can slim down and we can go, okay, well, you have guys way down here in ADP like CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, blah, blah, blah. The probability of those players making it back around to us is slim to none. So I understand that it looks very boring. It looks like we are just a complete fish, which we probably are. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to take 3 quarterbacks out the gate and see where the players fall afterwards. If people stick to ADP, then this will be a horrible decision. If we could have had CJ Stroud, if we could get Anthony Richardson, if we could get Bryce Young on the way back round or Kyler Murray at pick 45, then that Kirk Cousins selection is laughably bad. But in my mind, at least, how these Superflex drafts were last year, that never happened. Last year, you had all those guys off the board back by the time you were up at the end of the 4th round. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to lock him in. Okay. Rusty says we sniped him. Yeah, my man, I figured you were wanting to go Kirk Cousins there just because you had Jefferson round 6 and obviously needed a wide receiver as well. But interesting to see what these other teams are doing because you don't have these quarterbacks going. And keep in mind, if you're looking at this ADP, Underdog ADP is the best in the game. But when they initially launch a contest, like they just launched this today, they don't have ADP. They go through and they set the rankings themselves, or at least maybe they use a player list from a previous contest. But if you're looking at the ADP, you'll see there are no decimal places. It's just 31, 32, 34, 36. So usually you can just go through and draft off of Underdog ADP with how damn efficient these contests are. But it's significantly more difficult if you're going to be looking at, a list where the ADP isn't set quite yet. But James coming out says, I see you got your ears lowered. Looking good, my friend. Thank you so much. I truly do appreciate it. And yes, we did get them lowered earlier. They were rising up a little too high there. Duke says Kelsey is going to skyrocket tomorrow. Yeah, 100%. If you're looking at the 1 quarterback draft contest, Travis Kelsey is going ahead of Bijan Robinson. He's going ahead of CeeDee Lamb. He's going ahead of Stephon Diggs. So, yeah, I think that, he's going ahead of Tyreek Hill. He's going ahead of Devontae Adams. He's going ahead of Taylor, ahead of Brown, he's going right there with Kupp. But I think you should see Travis Kelsey going at the beginning of the 2nd round, the end of the 1st round. Now you have Derek Carr off the board, 39. Russell Wilson goes pick 40. Okay. Yeah, like I said, if those QBs, those rookies in particular, make it back to our next selection, then I am completely fine admitting that our Kirk Cousins pick was horrendous. And yeah, it looks like you may end up having Lance, Kyler, Young. Richardson's way down here. This is what I'm talking about with the ADP not really being efficient in this contest just yet. It will definitely be a lot more accurate just by tomorrow or the next day. Okay, Higgins goes 42, Pollard 43. Okay, so this is not like the drafts last year in the slightest. We're going to go ahead. We are going to take Derrick Henry here. If this was going to be a 1 quarterback league where we had that extra, where we had the flex, I would go ahead and I would take Chris Olave over Derrick Henry. But with this being super flex, we're going to make the adjustment like we did last season. Okay. Thomas says, already drafted 3 of these and took Anthony Richardson in the 6th round every time. Okay, yeah, people are letting Anthony Richardson fall to the 6th round. 100%, you should not be drafting 3 quarterbacks off the rip like we did. I can guarantee you by next week, what we did here before the ADP is set, going Fields to a Cousins, you will have to do that. Like, you are not going to be able to see DeAndre Hopkins going before, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and all these guys. I can guarantee you that will never happen starting as early as next week. But it looks like people aren't making the adjustment just because this ADP list is so out of whack, and they are following the ADP, which in general, you honestly kind of should on Underdog. But here, I think we may go with the fourth quarterback. Yeah, I think we're going to do it. Kyler, Amari, Calvin. We're going to go Kyler. We're going to go with the fourth QB. I just think if you're looking at a league where you're only starting 8 guys, 25% of your starting lineup requirements are of the quarterback position. Obviously, those guys are going to score more than anybody else. Kyler Murray is someone that's probably not going to be available at the beginning of the year, but he does provide you the spike week potential during the fantasy football playoff tournament. So yeah, we will go ahead and we'll take him at 52. Okay. Avon says, I'm predicting Anthony Richardson will turn out better than Lamar Jackson. Oh, dear God, my friend. Oh, dear God. Pitfall says counting on him in the second half of the season. I mean, yeah, definitely. Obviously, if Kyler Murray was a quarterback that was going to be good to go week 1, he would never go behind guys like Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Kyler would be going up there next to Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson. So it's priced in that Kyler Murray is going to miss the beginning of this next year. But, I mean, what you do have with Kyler is just the rushing upside that you have in the second half of the year to give you those potential spike weeks. Now, Jordan Love going off the board 57. Calvin Ridley goes 56. So let me show off this entire board. Like I said, if I would have known that you would have had these quarterback values, like you have CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson still available, for damn sure I would not have gone quarterback in both rounds 2 and 3. But just based off how Superflex drafts were last year, it just never happened. You never had the quarterback value making it to you later on. So my initial reaction was this ADP, nobody was going to listen to it whatsoever. And you were going to have the quarterbacks going way earlier than they did. I actually still don't mind our team whatsoever. I think it's a team that will have a lot of upside. So let's go ahead. Let's figure this out afterwards. You have Stroud 60, Amari 61. And if Anthony Richardson makes it a pick 69, I will literally cry. Yeah, if Richardson makes it a pick 69 and we could have gone with Garrett Wilson instead of Kirk Cousins and then just had Anthony Richardson making it to us in the 6th round. Dear God. Papa Drewski says, how do I get in the draft? So first thing, just go to the link in the live chat, link in the description, comment section. Sign up for Underdog, promo code FLOCK. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. And then if you're in the draft lobby, I mean, obviously you're going to see that they have MLB drafts, NBA drafts, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm just going ahead and I'm just going to the NFL tab here. You can see the same thing on the app and then pull it up. This is a $10 buy-in, $500,000 prize pool. And they launch us today, and there have already been over 2,000 entrants. So it is filling up quickly, my friend. But let's go back to the board that we are looking at. Okay, so Jimmy G goes. Christian Watson as well. Jameson Williams. Yeah, I mean, we just made the worst decision in the world. It is deciding to go ahead and take Tua Kirk Cousins with Anthony Richardson making it to the 6th. I mean, I'm telling you right now, you need to get in these drafts literally today before this ADP resets and just plan around taking Anthony Richardson in the 6th round in every single one. We can't. We already have taken 4 QBs. But for this league format in particular, that is just obnoxious value that you are getting there. Rusty says, I wouldn't need to go Richardson if you didn't steal Kirk. Yeah, I mean, I completely understand that. I know you have Justin Fields. I mean, not Justin Fields. I know you have Justin Jefferson. But to be honest with you, I still kind of in this format, I mean, with the price associated, would rather have 6th round Anthony Richardson than 3rd round Kirk Cousins. We'll go ahead. We'll take Jerry Jeudy as our first wide receiver off the board here at pick 69. Going back to what we were discussing at the very top of this video, in this format in particular, you don't need to just hammer in wide receivers as you do in the one quarterback underdog drafts because you get rid of that. It would be different if you just add in the super flex and you don't change the flex to a super flex, but changing the flex to the super flex is what devalues wide receiver a bit here. Okay, Michael Pittman, 71. I'm assuming this is 20 rounds, correct? Yeah, this is 20. Okay, good. Jay Fresh has Allen, Daniel Jones, QB. Goes Matthew Stafford here, pick 72. So starting quarterbacks left, you have Kenny Pickett, Brock Purdy, Desmond Ridder, Mac Jones, possibly Sam Howell. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to take someone in the 8th round. No, I can't. I already know Will Levis is going to be going. You can't take a 5th QB here when we only have one running back, one wide receiver. Literally just can't. But do we go Terry McLaurin or we'll go Terry McLaurin. You're about to get a fall off at the wide receiver position. So we're going to go Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 76. So looking at our team, I mean, I actually really like it. Like I said, I'm very excited to get in a draft after this one and be able to take advantage of some of this quarterback value that you're getting, such as Richardson, 67. You're going to get Will Levis probably in the 8th, 9th round. So I am going to definitely have a different strategy when we fire these up the rest of the day. But I think by the time you're getting in this later this week, whenever they have the ADP set, you're not going to have the ability to take advantage of the Anthony Richardson 6th round value, Will Levis 8th and 9th round value. Desmond Ridder off the board, 79. So this team has one quarterback, and that's it. I mean, I think here, if you're this team, you go Will Levis, and you don't even think about it. I mean, at least I would, but keep in mind, Will Levis is like one of my most drafted players. Don't know if he's going to be any good from a real life standpoint, but looks like he'll get enough draft capital to start year one, and he has rushing upside. J.K. Dobbins, 80. Nick says, I've been able to get Levis in the 16th round every time. Are you saying in these Superflex drafts, you're getting Levis in the 16th or one quarterback? Yeah, because in the 1 QB drafts, I mean, you can get Levis in the 17th round every time. So, Baker Mayfield goes 82. Yeah, I mean, Baker, Pickett. I actually would rather have Kenny Pickett over Desmond Ridder, even if Ridder probably has the better pieces around him and a little more rushing upside. I think the probability the Pittsburgh Steelers have a quarterback not named Kenny Pickett starting this next season is close to 0% outside of an injury. Whereas if we're looking at that same thing with the Atlanta Falcons and Desmond Ridder, I could easily see them replacing Ridder. Tunchi says he just got Levis in the 10th in a super. Yeah, I embarrassed myself taking Cousins in the 3rd. Cousins in the 3rd versus Levis in the 10th is disgustingly bad. I can't believe you're getting that kind of value. Okay, Sanders goes 89. JSN goes 90. Okay, I like our team. Pacheco goes 91. Swift goes. So we're going to go ahead. We will take Godwin, pick 93. So quarterbacks, I would say we have the best quarterbacks in the league. We have Justin Fields, Tua, Kirk Cousins, Kyler. So I'd say you have the security with Tua, Cousins. You have the elite spike weeks with Justin Fields and Kyler Murray. Wide receiver, we have Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin. Running back, we have Derrick Henry. So I actually really like our team, even if this kind of value in the 10th round would be so much better. So Hollywood going 96, Goddard off the board 95. I wonder, because you take that flex spot away, if tight end, I mean, just wide receiver gets a little devalued in general. So I guess inherently, if we're going to be comparing wide receiver and tight end does get a small bump. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We will take Jahan Dotson. I mean, we took Terry McLaurin, so we're getting a little correlation here with this Washington offense. I mean, we don't have too many stacking options with the quarterbacks that we did take. I mean, if we're going to be looking at what we have currently, Justin Fields, I mean, we can't take DJ Moore. He's already off the board. We really wanting to take Darnell Mooney. We really wanting to take Chase Claypool. I guess we could go Cole Kmet. I mean, Tua, Waddle, Tyreek already gone. Cousins, Jefferson gone. Hawkinson gone. Kyler, we could have, honestly, because we had Kyler Murray, the Chris Godwin selection was very bad. We should have gone ahead and we should have taken Hollywood Brown over Chris Godwin and picked 93. That would have made a lot more sense. Okay. Papa Price says, bro, are we doing these drafts already? You're crazy, Mason. My man, I did over 700 drafts on Underdog last year, and I will have to say this in every video. Profited over 150,000. So yeah, you better believe I'm going to be getting in a lot of Underdog drafts when there's literally zero time commitment during the season with these being best ball, my friend. I mean, they're fun. We made money last year. We're probably going to lose money this season, to be honest, but still. And we can afford to get in a ton of drafts with how well we did last season. Okay, so Kamara goes 106, Tannehill 104. So how many wide receivers we have? 4 wide receivers. Khalil Herbert 107. So you have Khalil Herbert going ahead of Javonte Williams here. That's really interesting. Quentin Johnson goes 108. Quentin Johnson would have been a player we would have taken on the way back around if he would have made it to us. So if we're just going through and thinking of how we're constructing this team, we have 4 quarterbacks. It's very, very hard to take a 5th, even if in my mind, Levis is the best value available. He's about to go in the 10th. So now we just know, do not take to a Kirk Cousins in the 2nd and 3rd. I'll say that's something you will have to do in a week. When this ADP is updated in a week, you will have to take Tua and Kirk Cousins this early. But if we're getting in drafts today before the ADP is updated, pass on him there. Just get Levis in the 10th. Okay. Gabriel Davis off the board, 111. Cortland Sutton, 112. Take Sutton here. Does this team have Russ? Okay, this team does have Russ. I'm like, what are we doing taking Sutton? Evan Ingram goes 113. Bush Sports says, Mason, you're out here tempting me. I had to exclude for 3 months just to slow down my pace. Underdog is such a game changer for easy access to fantasy drafts. I would say if you are going to fire up a couple of these drafts, my man, I know you are obviously smart enough to take advantage of the ADP here. So if you plan on getting in the Superflex drafts, I would say the earlier the better if you are a smart drafter before the ADP sets. I am not a smart drafter, so I am probably getting cooked out here when we don't have the ADP guardrails to help us through it. But okay, there are 2 guys I have in mind of what we're going to be doing here. Just hope they both don't go. Deontay Johnson was one of them. We're going to get our next guy. Come on. Come on. Okay, we are. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get Zach Charbonnet here. I mean, we need another running back. Charbonnet, 117. I really like the value. I mean, we're getting him as like a borderline running back 3-4. So I am completely fine going with him at the 1009. Duke says, I literally paid my college tuition with what I made from last season. LOL. Oh, yeah, Duke, didn't you win the Puppy 1? Didn't you win 75? Levis finally off the board, 10-10. This team took Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd, was smart enough to get Kelsey in the 2nd, and be able to wait all the way until the 10th round to get their quarterback to and Will Levis. That is a phenomenal, phenomenal team. Yeah. Crazy Brown crushed this. Way better than we did. No, Nick is the one who won the $75,000 in the puppy draft. Dude, what did you win to pay for your college tuition? What the hell? How the hell could you do that without winning a massive tournament? Bush Sports, Jamal Williams at 60% draft weight last year helped me win a lot from the OG big board. That's pretty good, my man. That is pretty damn good. Sadly, I did not have that much Jamal Williams. Okay, Zay Flowers, 121. Okay, super shorty goes James Cook. We'll go ahead. We'll take Rachaad White. 124s. I actually kind of like our team, okay? But before we give a brief overall look with our team, we have a massive donation coming out from Jackson. Thank you so much, my friend, for being a part of the vlog. This is a 12-team Superflex 3-year league. We have Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Tannehill, Chubb, Kamara, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jamar Chase, Hopkins, Ridley, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper. Feel like we're running back away, and we traded the 103 and 104 for Bijan Robinson. What are our thoughts on the deal? I mean, I personally really like it. If you're going to be looking at the 103, 104, those are going to be solid quarterbacks. Like you in that Superflex rookie draft, traded away, say, Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson, both of whom, I mean, definitely could be long-term cornerstone assets to build around in a Dynasty Superflex league. But if we're going to be looking at a roster that you feel like is a running back away from being competitive, I mean, right now, Bijan Robinson's being drafted as a top 10 RB on Underdog. He's being drafted as a borderline top 5 running back year one. Dynasty, you're getting the long-term as well. I mean, so not only are you getting a similar long-term value as you possibly would with both quarterbacks, but you're also getting the short-term production. So I maybe wouldn't love it if you thought that you were going to be a rebuilding roster for the long term. But if you are contending and you feel like you're only one QB away, then hell yes, let's go ahead and let's make that play, which you already did. Love the deal, my friend. And thank you so much for being a member of the flock and supporting the channel. I genuinely do really appreciate it. Okay. But yeah, going back, let's check out this team real quick. So quarterback, we are rolling with Justin Fields, Tua, Cousins, Kyler. So we should have more quarterback points than anybody else in this league if things break correctly. Obviously, we invested more than anybody else in this league. So, I mean, if we don't, we are screwed. Now, running back, we have Derrick Henry, Zach Charbonnet, Rachaad White. In my mind, I feel like, okay, we got our RB1, we have an RB2, we have an RB3. We have a ton of wide receiver twos here with Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Jahan Dotson. But going back to what we were discussing previously, I think in these Superflex drafts, wide receiver is going to be a little bit less important than in those one quarterback underdog ones. Okay. Now, KJ Osborne, 137. Swing this around. We are going to have to probably take Cole Kmet at the turn here just because we have Justin Fields. Even if we don't love the value, kind of have to do it. Dawson Knox goes 130. And this is also like, I mean, just an interesting spot to be in. Anybody who's smart would tell you, you know what, Mason? You need to be taking Darnell Mooney over Juju Smith-Schuster as well. You have Justin Fields. You're already making that bet on the Chicago Bears offense. Might as well double down. Might as well be able to capture the spike weeks whenever Fields does have a blow-up game. I don't know. I mean, if I'm looking at Juju Smith-Schuster, just in my mind, he's a way better player than Darnell Mooney. Less target competition. And an offense that probably has about the same amount of passing volume, if not a little more. I don't know. Like a smart person goes Darnell Mooney here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Juju Smith-Schuster, and then I'll take whatever Chicago Bear makes it back around to us in the 13th. Yeah, so we'll go ahead. We'll get Juju as our wide receiver 5. Bush Sports says, my guy this year is Paris Campbell. I believe in the Giants offense, and he's practically free. Big range of outcomes, but huge upside. It is true. I mean, Paris Campbell obviously has had some phenomenal flashes. It's just ever since he's came into the NFL, Paris Campbell's literally never been a player that can stay healthy. Ever. I don't know if we've ever seen it. Okay. Samaje Perine off the board, 143. So we're going to have 4 quarterbacks. We're going to have 3 tight ends. So we have 13 spots to operate between wide receiver and running back. Probably looking at 6 and 7 here. 4, 6, 7, 3. Okay, well, yeah, I think we are going to get one of the Chicago Bears making it back to us. Casey Brown already has Kelsey and Pat Freiermuth. I'd be surprised if we see them go Cole Kmet. So really, I think the only way that we are not going to get a Chicago Bears pass catcher to pair up with Justin Fields is if, yeah, now it's for sure happening. I would honestly maybe prefer Kmet here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're going to go ahead. We will get Cole Kmet. Pairs up with Fields. We don't have a tight end. And with Kmet, we've been talking about this a lot on the Dynasty channel, but obviously, I mean, everybody always says, don't draft a year 1 tight end. Don't draft a year 2 tight end. Really just wait till year 3, year 4 when everybody's given up on them. And then you can go out there and you can buy them. I feel like Kmet's kind of in that situation where, I mean, a lot of people were excited about him coming into year 1, right? And with Cole Kmet, I would say he's had a respectable 3-year stretch in Chicago. Like, if we're going through and looking at this, the man 2 years ago averaged 36 receiving yards per game. Now, of course, that's fallen down. With Cole Kmet, that fell down to 32 receiving yards per game this past year. But we have to remember, the Chicago Bears were the worst passing offense in NFL history, or modern NFL history. They're the worst passing offense since literally like 2008, 2009, if we're looking at the overall volume that you had. I mean, so if we're going to go through and look at their passing yards per game, you had, from a market share perspective, Cole Kmet commanding 21% of the receiving yards on a per game basis in Chicago. I doubt Chicago's a good passing offense this next season. I mean, in a lot of leagues, I'm betting that they're not. But if we decided to go Justin Fields in round 1 here, I feel like we kind of have to go through and we kind of have to make the bet that, I guess in this league, they need to be a good passing offense if this team's going to have any shot to win anything. Okay. Misa says, where do you think you had the most success last year? Early drafts beating out ADP or later drafts when you knew injuries, players, roles, etc.? So I think the $500 draft that we won the Big Dog 2 with, which was the $20,000 prize, I think we drafted that team July. And I think the Big Dog draft that we had, that we won the 100,000 with, I think we drafted that team 2 weeks before the season. I'm definitely going to look back at those drafts and do like a reaction little video right before the season starts. But yeah, I'm off the top of my head, I think it's also Jacobs was my most drafted guy. Waddle was my second most drafted guy. Mahomes was my third most. So like we kind of had success on every little step of the way. I don't know where our 16th place Best Ball Mania team was drafted though. What time of year? Fantasy Stock Exchange says, love me some Zach Charbonnet at that price. My man, let me know if you've gotten in a few of these drafts yet. I mean, I did not expect the quarterbacks to make it this far in this draft. I mean, we went way too early with these guys, at least with the 2-3 round turn. Okay, Antonio Gibson goes pick 164. I don't really think we can take Kareem Hunt here. I think instead we're probably going to be going with the wide receiver. We'll just take Joshua Palmer. I mean, with Palmer, this is an option that honestly has an ADP this high primarily because the Justin Herbert team usually feels like they have to go out there and they have to grab him, but I'm fine with him if he's going to be going next to Nico Collins. He's attached to an elite level quarterback, playing behind a couple old wide receivers that have shown that they will get injured occasionally, and then I think we can get some usable weeks from Joshua Palmer here. Oh yeah, I forgot, my man. You have to go to Buffalo to draft on. That is brutal. You got to get out of Ontario. Hey, we'll say Austin's a big city, my friend. Austin's a big city. Yeah, I can help you find a place. Okay, so now let's see what we're going to be doing with our next pick here. Okay, Jeff Wilson, 167. I mean, we kind of need to go running back. The thing is, which running back would we actually take? Cameron coming out with a big time donation. Thank you so much, my man. Says a 10-team Superflex. We have Allen, Lawrence, Brees, London, Ridley, Ayuk, Freiermuth, Lance, Love, the 101, 109, 203. Do we trade the 101 and Love for Chris Olave, ETN, and a future first? Okay, so let's break this down piece by piece. If we're going to be looking at a 10-team Superflex league, Jordan Love versus the 2024 first, honestly, it's going to be kind of easy for me. I will go ahead. I will take Jordan Love there I'm sorry, I'm the 2024 first over Jordan Love. Because if you're thinking about it in general, in that 10-team Superflex league, it's going to be much easier than a 12-team league in terms of finding just a quarterback starter, in terms of finding a QB3 for your roster. On average, in a 10-team league, every team should have 3 to 4 starting QBs. Also, with that being a 10-team Superflex league in 2024, it can't be pick 11, can't be pick 12. Naturally, the rookie pick's going to be a little bit higher as well. So I would prefer the 2024 first over Jordan Love in that format in particular. If we're going to be looking at Bijan Robinson versus both Travis Etienne and Chris Olave, my initial reaction is saying, okay, let's go ahead and let's take Travis Etienne and Chris Olave as well. I mean, both of those players are round 2, round 3 startup picks for me. Now, why I would be a little bit hesitant in saying this is I have looked at a lot of 10-team Superflex leagues that people are only starting like 8 guys. And if you're only starting 8 guys, the depth literally doesn't matter whatsoever. And maybe in that kind of format, you would prefer just getting the best player available in Bijan Robinson. But assuming that you have to start 10, 11 players, I would go ahead. I would get both Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, and the future first for Jordan Love and Bijan Robinson. Now we got Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki, Michael Mayer, all going off the board, 178, 179, 180. I didn't know if we were going to take the 15th round there. Really, I don't know which direction we should be going. Obviously, it hasn't been a great offseason for Kareem Hunt. I have no idea what the scenario is going to be this next season. Essentially, the reason we go Kareem Hunt there is just because I thought there was a shot Roschon Johnson made it back to us. And with Kareem Hunt, there was no way he was making it back. So I tried to get a little greedy. Try to see if we could get both guys. Didn't work out, but it is what it is now. Jalen Warren, 183. Sorry, just sitting here thinking, what are we going to do? Renfro goes 184. So we're going to need 2 more tight ends. We're going to need most likely 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so we have 5 more rounds. 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, and a wide receiver. John Mechie, 185. Dalton Kincaid, 187. What would there be any potential starters at the quarterback position? Unless you want to make a bet that somehow Darnold wins. No, we're not doing that. If Sam Darnold wins the San Francisco job, I have way, way, way bigger issues than... We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Tyquan Thornton. I understand that, yeah, we probably instead should look to... No, there'll be wide receivers we like on the way back around. Should we just go tight end? No, we're going to go Tyquan Thornton. We have Juju Smith-Schuster. We're already making one bet on this New England Patriots offense. So we have Terry, Jahan Dotson, Juju, Tyquan Thornton. I think wide receiver, we're going to be pretty much done here. Primarily going to be looking at running back, tight end from here on out. Cameron says it's a start 10 league. If it's a start 10 league, I think I will take Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, and the future first over the 101 and Jordan Love. I mean, with Chris Olave, I just think he's such a freaking good player. And Travis Etienne is a borderline top 5 dynasty running back as well. So it's not like we're selling Bijan Robinson for some trash depth. No, you're getting 2 guys. You're getting a running back 1 and a wide receiver 1 in return. Okay, Country Miller goes off the board 192. Shakir off the board 193. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Trey McBride. This team has Kelsey, so they're not going to take a tight end here. So I guess maybe we're just stacking quarterbacks with tight ends here, doing anything we can to find a little correlation. I mean, obviously, we should have done a much better job. We should have taken Hollywood Brown over Chris Godwin, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. Now, Leonard Fournette, 199. Can y'all please do me a favor? Can everybody go to the live chat and let me know their opinion on this? Where is Leonard Fournette going to be in 2023? Please spam the chat. Let me know where Leonard Fournette will be, as I have no idea. Champ says Kansas City. Oh, if Fournette made it to Kansas City, he would honestly probably be a pretty good fit. He'd be going way higher than this too. Foot Locker, the couch, Miami. Miami would be nice as well. Chiefs, homeless. I think a lot would have to happen for Leonard Fournette to be homeless. I mean, I believe the couch, Foot Locker is even a stretch. I don't know if Leonard Fournette would want to take on that. Cowboys make a lot of sense. Pending the draft capital assumes he signs post-draft. I think I saw Leonard Fournette like tweet something out in terms of him saying like, what did Fournette? I felt like he tweeted out something with the Cowboys logo. Seems like every player ever wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys. It's like wanting to play for the Lakers. Okay, let me go to Leonard Fournette's Twitter. Let's see if we have anything. Okay, no. He said, my free agent hat, it did have the Cowboys logo, but it also had the Ravens logo, Broncos, Eagles, Seahawks, Jags, Saints, Chiefs, Miami. I mean, I feel like Miami's also a team that everybody just wants to go to just because everybody wants to live in Miami. But honestly, do we take Rondale Moore here and only go 5 RBs? Hendon Hooker could be a really, really good pick if the upside case works out. Probably a lot of teams that I draft Hooker on as my 4th QB. We're going to go ahead and we're going to have to get a tight end here. We'll go Noah Fant as our 3rd guy. I mean, I really like Noah Fant. I think you maybe make an argument to go Darnell Washington instead, but what can I say? I'm a Fant fan. Okay. And then we are supposed to just be running back from here on out. Like initially thinking maybe we're going to, okay, Rondale Moore goes. If Rondale Moore would have made it to us, we possibly would have grabbed him. Okay. So yeah, we're probably going to take a couple of running backs here then. Chubb goes 216. Adrian says, I can't believe you got Tua and Fields. I think you won all the quarterbacks going round 1 and round 2 now. That's what I was saying. Like, I was expecting this to be like Superflex drafts last year, where obviously you have to be able to read the room that you're in. But usually what you'll have in these Superflex drafts, and once this ADP works out, you are going to see all this being purple. You are not going to get Anthony Richardson 67, Bryce Young 55, CJ Stroud 60. These guys are going to be going significantly higher. That's why I initially went through and said, okay, well, yeah, we know how to win these Superflex leagues. You go quarterback, 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 and then be able to hammer in very good wide receivers and running backs in the middle rounds. This draft room was a little bit different. I would honestly, if I could go back on this, pass on Cousins at 28 and instead probably grab like, say, I don't know, Will Levis in the 10th round. I think that would have been much, much better. But, I mean, you live and you learn. I think that you're probably going to see these quarterbacks fly up as this ADP gets set. But I think that'll be it. We're going to go ahead. We're going to draft one more running back in round 20 here. But thank you so much for hanging out with us in this live stream, showing off the entire team. And as always, if you want to get in our next draft, you can find the link in the live chat. Find it in the comment section. I highly recommend, if you are going to fire up some of these Superflex drafts, to do it sooner rather than later before the ADP gets set. That way you can go ahead and take advantage of those values. But thank you for everything. Drop a like on the live stream if you haven't already. I appreciate you and really hope you have a great weekend.